Hello, everyone, and welcome to the discussion on AIOPS and how it can assist you taking your IT operations to the next level. My name is John from EIL Global, and I look after national sales. We also have Rakesh from marketing, EIL Global Adelaide. And also on the panel, we have Anand, who's the co-founder of Autointelli from Chennai in India, as well as Dinesh, who's from the solution architect team based in Chennai in India. Today's discussion, we're going to talk a little bit about AIL and our journey in emerging technologies, about IT operations, the challenges, solutions, and innovation, how AIOPS work, and a deep understanding of how it helps within IT operations, and some use cases, or some real-time use cases. About AIL. It started from a conventional IT services across Microsoft, Cisco, and Avaya platforms with professional managed services. We have a wide range of experience in a range of technologies within the IT infrastructure management across unified comms, routing and switching, storage, as well as cloud platforms. We have a wide range of customers from small, medium to large across financial services, natural resources within the oil and gas industry, as well as Fortune 500 within medical device industries. We're headquartered in Adelaide with offices all across Australia, as well as the Asia-Pac region and New Zealand in Auckland, Hong Kong, Singapore, with over 200 plus staff. With the adoption of AI blockchain technologies, we assist MSPs and other enterprises to address the conventional IT operational platforms and evolutionize into modern day IT services. So that's a little bit about AIL. Now I'm going to pass it on to my colleague Rakesh to take you to the rest. Thank you, Rakesh.
Thank you so much, John. That was a good introduction. Hi, people. Good afternoon. This is Rakesh with AIL Global, taking care of marketing and operations and into AI initiatives as well. So for today's agenda, I'm going to run through you the traditional IT ops, the problems we address, and how do we move towards an autonomous, IT operations. Basically, we are going to cover the battles of the operations world and AIOps, how do we get there, and we have a demo in place to see things in action and key takeaways. I think I can straight away jump into the conversation, the discussion. All right, so whatever we start from here, it's based on our experiences with the enterprise IT landscape. So the circles you see, I would say these are all the circles of energy. If you see the first circle, all the three circles, you have the bigger circle, which is an infrastructure and maintenance in the first circle. Takes most of the energy when it comes to the IT operations, which less innovation going in, and we move towards an area where we induct technologies like cloud and some other emerging technologies where we reduce the capacity of the infrastructure maintenance and the infrastructure as well by inducting more innovation. And finally, this is our thing we are trying to achieve, which is an autonomous IT operations where we depend on more innovation, less on maintenance and infrastructure. When I say support, anything and everything that requires a rework, troubleshooting, and you might have faced a war room situation as well, that comes into the support. When I say the innovation, we mean to say the new features, products, technologies, or the new experimentation that's being carried out in the IT operations. And what we are trying to achieve is the third circle, which is bootstrap the customer innovation factory, increasing the agility and scaling the agility, reducing the go-to-market timing, reach out to the customers proactively. ultimately, which results in lowering the cost and improving the quality of service when it comes to IT operations. So I think I can straight away discuss more on the challenges we face in the current IT operations. We had a lot of discussions with the operations managers, ranging from CIOs to the operations manager or IT manager. Um people say seeing the current trends, people say we are moving towards a no ops zone, but that's going to happen in very soon. What we are seeing is we are actually moving towards an autonomous operations. There is no such thing called no operations. It's called autonomous operations, where we employ other systems to take care of the operations. But we need to we need to see on the challenges in our current IT operations. We have listed down the top 4 challenges in the current IT operations, one being the lack of information, where you could have experience in a lot times where you have no information or very limited information about certain problems. So it would be very difficult for you to come into a resolution of it. So that's because of lack of information. Many people would have faced that challenge in operations. And the second one being the information overload, which is a straight opposite to the lack of information, where you have lots of information and don't know how to figure out where the problem is. Say a huge haystack and you have a needle in it, and it is very difficult to identify the needle inside the haystack. In order to do that, we have to independently pick one straw, each and every straw, and see through it to identify whether it has a needle or not. In the real-time scenario, we might have lots of dashboards for server infra, for the network infra, for the app infra, for the platforms, for the codes. We might be having lots of dashboard and lots of information, and we certainly don't know where the problem is. And the third bigger problem is into the data correlation. Uh, we might be having a lot of data, we might be having a very less data, but we don't know how do we correlate the data. We might be having 400 or 500 alerts a day, but that 400 500 alerts might point to a single root cause, but we might not know, since we do not have a data correlation in place. Or in today's perspective, I would say we do not have a very effective data correlation platform in place in the current IT setup, and which affects the dynamic trends as well. When I say dynamic trends, people used to calculate on the trends in which their IT operations is being carried out. By the time they take the trend and see where the problem is, or to see where the many more problems are occurring, it might be 2 days or it might be 7 days old, and the goal is to find the root cause, and it is getting defeated as soon as possible. So we have seen the top 4 more challenges in the IT ops. We also have things when an ops is done better. What do we need to make ops perform in a better fashion? So again, we are going up with the top 4, which directly relates to the challenges we face in the current IT operations, which is the first one being the root cause identification. When you want to perform IT operations in a better way, you must have a better system to give you a root cause identification. It should be faster. Everything should be standardized inside the RCI. It should help you create a plans, test the plans, and execute it, so that you avoid a lot of sticky issues. I think you would have faced a lot of sticky issues. You would have faced a war room situation where you might had several weeks to identify and resolve a particular issue. So when operations has to be done better, we should have a system which has a better root cause identification. The next one, freedom from the white noise, which I relate to the haystack scenario. We have lots of information that is clouding the real problem. So we have lots and lots of dashboards, for networks, servers, for the application, the platforms. So, but that actually clouding the real problem. So we should have a system, and we should do it well. We would be able to get a freedom from the white noise. That clears the cloud to see the real problem. And ultimately, the data correlation map. See, there is a problem with the data correlation in the current scenario, and we need to have a system in place to create a better, or to show a better map on the data correlation. It might be a single tool, it might be a multiple tools to provide, a map on the influencing, issues or the current trends, which should be real time. That's what we are looking for. And when we have all these first three things in place and in perfect condition, we see on proactive remediation. Many of the IT operation guys, they wake up on alert sense and don't know how it occurred and what to do to fix it. They have to undergo a lot of knowledge base go through, and they need to find a fix for it. So when we have a perfect root cause identification and we see the problem, we focus on the exact problem, and we have the correlation done in the right way, we can move towards a proactive remediation, and which can lead us to create an autonomous IT operations environment. So those are the four areas where we have concentrated to make the IT operations better. Let's have some of the key takeaways out of these 3-4 slides we have gone through. The key takeaway number one is the MTTR. That directly, goes back to the needle on the haystacks. We get the freedom from the noise. So we improve the MTTR, which is mean time to resolution. We are talking about resolution here, mean time to resolution. And the takeaway two is being the proactive action. So when we have all the IT operations done better, and we can, eye towards proactive actions where problems get automatically avoided and move towards an autonomous IT operations. So how to get back on top of ITOps? So we have identified several steps, and we have seen in 4. So we are sticking with 4 steps here. One being observability and collection, patterns, and actions. When I say observability, it is not just collecting information, it's not just getting the logs and monitoring information, but also going through the length and breadth of the logs and monitoring, like alerting, logging, notification, remediation counts, dashboards. And there are several more things to observability, like code telemetry, even users and APIs. So we get meaningful data and insights, having a robust observability system in place. And that observability throws all the information to the collection bucket, where all the collected meaningful information are getting stored. And with the collection, you can see the slope on the leads, on a periodical way. Either it might be a quarter, it might be weekly, it might be monthly, or it might be the annual. You can see the slope with respect to the collection. And there is an objective. We have observed certain items, and we have collected the information, and we throw this information into the patterns, to understand the patterns. After collection, we see patterns. So when we see the patterns, so it helps the IT operations team to automate the patterns and respond each and every alert effectively. So that is the goal. And ultimately, when we identify the pattern, it moves to an action. It might be an event-based action. And ultimate goal of the action is to move towards an autonomous IT operations. So so we have seen the 4 different steps on how to get back on top of IT operations to have a better IT ops tools in place. So let's see how it can be put it across a framework, so we can see how things work in action. People say, hey, AIOPS is a new normal. Yes, it is. It's a new normal. AIOPS is gonna, be the new normal moving forward. So since we see, the observability, collection, pattern, and action, so everything is in a map right now. This is how the whole system works. First, we collect events, infrastructure logs, platform logs, application logs, code telemetry, and we put it in the observability and the collection engine, which observes things and put it in a separate place to store collected data, and that collected data will be processed to the patterns to identify the patterns with using the tools, and it might be data. And with the patterns, tools, and data section, what we do is, we can see the forecast, the planned events. We can see forecast the budget. We can forecast the threat intelligence. Say this month it's going to be a huge load on the IT infra. We can predict it, and we can see the patterns that it's going to be a huge energy drain for the IT operations because of the spike in IT usage. It might be in retail, it might be having a periodical sale that's going on, and ultimately the IT usage will be high, and IT operations workload will also be on high. So the pattern helps us to forecast it. And ultimately, when having the patterns in place, so we trigger it to an action, a powerful action. So when we say actions, it can be predictive. Action has insights. Before action, we need to have an insight. It can be a predictive and a preventive insights. So with the predictive and preventive insights, we can help ourselves with the decisive response, a purposeful action, accordingly, with seeing the patterns. We can take a purposeful action, and we can also guarantee a timely recovery. And also, there are cases where we would discover a new pattern, very new pattern that's not been there in the past. So when we have a new pattern, we again put the new pattern into the ingestion so that it can process and create meaningful insights. So it is a continuous learning cycle. That is how an autonomous IT operations works. So as EAL Global, we are partnered with Autointelli to provide a solution on autonomous IT operations, so which is called Autointelli. So I would like to introduce Mr. Anand and Dinesh from Autointelli team to provide us more insights on how the tool works in real time. We have a real-time tool in place now. Hello, Anand.
So much, Rakesh, for the introduction. So I can take it from here. So, moving on to how Autointelli works, we have the solution and the benefits slide of what Autointelli is all about. How it can help you to grow your IT operations to the next level. And so here's the architecture of the product. So can we go on to the next slide, please? Yeah. So just to give a brief introduction of what Autointelli does. So what Autointelli does is basically to ingest various type of data, be it your metrics, monitoring data, ticketing data, logs, tickets, emails, and then it does an event management on top of it. It suppresses events. It correlates real time uh, events and convert into valuable insights and alerts, and then triggers a virtual automation engineer when it finds issue with your alerts, and then it goes on to your target, runs certain diagnostics and get the first diagnostic report, and it creates an automatic incident and tries to close the same by using our remedial actions. So it's a sort of complete end-to-end auto heal solution is what Autointelli provides. So we wanted to basically eliminate the regular mundane IT incident or the service request task with the IT team does by doing the basic levels of troubleshooting, and then most of the issues apart from the P1s and P2s all repetitive in nature, and there are certain standard procedural checks which we follow to drill down to the certain problems which we wanted to convert them as bots, rules, and workflows, so that you don't need much of a human interaction for those, and then that contributes to almost 30 to 40% of your tickets that can easily get eliminated, so that the team can focus more on real time issues and most of the P1s and P2s that needs a human touch anyways. So it gathers the data, it correlates against them, it runs bots on top of it to take some decision and actions and then close a particular tickets. And we also have a business process orchestrator engine to automate any of those complex issue. So we follow, it helps you to achieve event driven automation, monitoring, alerting, and scheduling bad jobs or scheduled tasks. It has a self service portal, and it has, you can do resource provisioning, you can do a workflow orchestration using a simple form designer and a drag and drop designer. So combining all these, you can help to automate uh, problems, changes, releases, service requests, and also complex incident tasks. So moving on to the benefits of the platform. So there are the various different kinds of modules Autointelli has. So basically the idea being Autointelli created is to have everything on a single pane of glass. Let's say when you deploy Autointelli in your own environment, so you would have already have a monitoring tool, you have a ticketing tool, you have some password vault solutions to log in, you have a CMDB and all. So what Autointelli does is it orchestrates across all these tools, gets data, and then work on those automation on top of it. For example, it you can funnel in all your monitoring events to Autointelli, and Autointelli auto um, registers ticket, add work logs, resolves your tickets whenever it's something, whenever we resolve a particular issue. And it also, you can have a password vault integrated, so you don't have to manually key in passwords every time when you want to log in to any of your application or to run certain automations and things like that. And then you can also see the real-time ticket IDs which is generated in your ITSM platform against each of those alerts which have been raised from the monitoring system to quickly track. And without even to switch between your tools, you can update the ticket, change the status, add work logs, and you can also work on those particular incidents without even logging into the work on the target application. So it, for every alert or incident raised, apart from the first diagnostic reports provided by the bots, you can also get recommendations to execute commands or execute certain pre-built task with what we would call. So these are all the some triage mechanism wherein when executed, for example, a SQL running high, you can get some pop-ups or get the current usage. Check a session who's using what, running what kind of query which is causing this issue, or kill a session, restart services. All these are pops up as a recommendation where we can quickly execute that in the target and get things done without even to log in onto the remote platform. So uh, for me as a line of support engineer, so I don't need to um, you know uh, keep in mind all the various different URLs or usernames and passwords, SOPs. So it's more of real time. Everything is there in front of me. I can just execute and get things done much faster, thereby reducing the mean time to resolve my complete incident. So that's about the entire Autointelli one view. And then we also have a smart alerting feature, so we can gather 100 plus metrics data. Let's say if a customer does not have a monitoring tool in place, or he needs a custom monitoring and take some remedial actions, then Autointelli can monitor those jobs, key performance indicators, and then on specific to operating system KPIs, or some bad jobs we need to monitor and take some actions as and when it fails, or certain condition is met. So we call it as an event driven automation. So we can monitor for a specific event, and when that particular event occurs, take some a sense policy response based action. So we can sense certain events, look through certain policies, rules, workflows, and knowledge repositories and see what happened for these kind of events in the past, and then respond to those events through some actions. It could be a workflow, it could be certain commands, it could be some sending up some alerts or notifications. So that's the smart alerting all about with Autointelli. And then we also have a business analytics view. This is morely for the managers or CXO level users to see what's happening in the entire infrastructure. Since we integrate with various different tool sets, you can have a lot of data coming into the platform that gets converted into real-time insights. Visually, you can see, what are the top 5 servers giving more problems, how many bots gets executed, how many tickets being raised, what's the trend of monitoring events, or all the streaming events which are flowing into the platform. Whole lot of insights you can get, and it can be completely customizable. business process orchestrator, it's a big module in itself. It comes with a designer engine. It has an execution engine. It has a scheduling engine. It has a self-service portal. It has third-party integration readily available. For example, you don't even need to come to the workflow orchestrator after deploying your workflow. It can be triggered from your chat application, from your ITSM system, from your monitoring tools, or from your other third-party application directly using my REST APIs. So it has got a complete black box integration. Can be completely backend, and you can get your things automation things gets done faster by integrating those with your existing application. And it also has a on-demand self-service portal. If still you can provide those to your end customers as well as your operation users for uh, uh, their own self-service automations like password resets, account unlocks, getting access to applications, changing their attributes, profile attributes, provisioning a VM, deprovisioning, backing, creating a backup jobs, all with the help, all including approvals, multiple levels of approvals if needed, and all those. So it's a big module in itself. It serves all the change, problem, and service request related activities taken care through the PPO orchestrator. And to support all these modules, we have a centralized password repository with a discovery and inventory module. So you can discover the end servers or applications, and then you can map those towards certain credentials and keep it in a centralized repository so that it can all be utilized by various different modules without even keying every time a password, username, a password for logging into those platforms. So you can have all the credentials centrally managed. So you don't need to have it used anywhere within the application. So that's our discovery and inventory module. So that's the various different modules and features what we have at an Autointelli. So moving on to the next session. So finally, what do we get by deploying Autointelli in your environment? So basic idea for us to deploy Autointelli is to reduce as much as incident and service request tickets so that the team can concentrate more on real time or unique issues. And it's completely, we wanted to eliminate the L1, L1.5 levels of us by inducing more and more virtual bot or automation engineers. And it's completely 24/7 virtual workers. You get 100% response to SLAs, and we wanted to you will get even a complete reduction in your L1 tickets. At least we are seeing about 30 to 40% of your ticket reduction when it comes to your incident and service request management. And then and again, the bots are completely 24/7. It works anytime around the clock, even when a P1 or P2 happens in the midnight. So you'll have all the diagnostic information attached. There you already have a ready-made incident ticket logged with all those informations ready-made. So you also have 100% response to your SLA. And these are some of the metrics. And the main metric what we track is the mean time to resolve, the MTTR we call. So you can have a 1/3 reduction in your time taken to reduce all your incidents through our virtual bots or virtual engineers. So that's all the benefits of Autointelli what you get with the platform. So the key takeaways here finally, according to Gartner, almost by end of 2023, almost most of the organization, at least 30% of the large enterprise, you'll be at least using AIOPS in their digital, experiences. Because most of us, which we are currently using, what we are using is our monitoring systems are siloed or most of threshold based, and then most of them sends out alerts only when things goes wrong. So there's not a complete a bigger picture, because network level network monitoring tool send in their alerts, database monitoring tool will send those particular threshold breaches, but there's somebody who has to correlate and say, hey, all these are part of a particular application which being down. So that's why these are all the upstream and downstream connected components which are throwing in the alert. So that's what we wanted to move into really. Otherwise there's no meaning if you want to have a multiple siloed systems in place. And that's exactly Gartner is predicting that by 2023 most of the systems will be, or most of the enterprise will be at least investing in some kind of AIOps platform that would help move into more of a digital experience manner. So that's the key takeaways what we have and through this particular webinar.
And I think, Anand, that was a nice walkthrough on how Autointelli works. So I think it would be great if we can start off with a demo.
Yeah, definitely. So we can
I
run
think there is a
through.
poll that's going on.
Yeah, I think you can continue.
I think if we can give Anand an access to show the demo, it would be great.
Uh, yeah, so let me quickly run you through the Autointelli portal we have. Um, so it's one of our demo portal, and it's and to give a quick technical background of Autointelli, or it's completely web-based. There's don't need to have a thick client installed. Like our competitors, you have to have a studio or a designer to be installed in your laptop or something like that. It's completely web-based with role-based access control, can be integrated with your own Active Directory or any federated systems we have. And the front end is created with HTML and Bootstrap with Angular project, and then our back end is completely Java with Python for some of handling big data stuff. So I'll quickly switch to go to the main agenda. So we have two different modules right now. One is on the event management, one is on the automation. So event management is mostly the incident management automation. So there are different sections. We have a quick monitoring window which shows you some of the KPIs we monitor. And it's not a full-fledged monitoring tools, but only for the automation perspective. If you want to monitor certain things and take respective actions, we can have it monitored through our monitoring console. And then we have the events. You can integrate with your existing monitoring tools. For us, we have data coming in from, let's say, Autointelli, Zabbix, and then there's some Nagios events as well. So all these are all the raw events we collect. We collect various different metrics like the severity, what CI is affected, the description, the notes, and the time it gets, and then the source data, and all these goes into our data receiver, and then we attach the component what could go wrong, and also we run event management on top of it. So if you see the real-time events or at least 379k or something, but when I switch on to my alerts screen, it's very very minimal. So what happens to the remaining alerts is either they gets correlated, deep duplicated, or removes false positive, and either gets suppressed by finding a similar kind of patterns of events. So whenever I open any particular alert in here, you can see at least some of the events, raw events, which can map for all these kind of different events. This is the particular alert which we created, and this could be the component which gets affected. And you can see an associated ticket ID. And this ticket ID is not related to Autointelli. It's the ITSM ticket ID which you use in your own environment. So, for example, if we use Manage Engine, Service Desk Manager, and that's ticket ID get. If you use Remedy or ServiceNow or Service Manager, any other ticketing platform, those ticket ID gets reflected there. So you can have a map of your monitoring alerts as well as the incident in a single console. And then for every ticket ID, you will have a first level of diagnostic reports attached. For example, in my case, this particular server throwing some SQL CPU issues. You can see what are all the stages the ticket, the life cycle of that particular instance. It checks, it created a ticket, whether it checks whether the host is there in its inventory or not. Only then I can pick up the access details and log into the service and the diagnostics. And it also checks if there are any custom built rules for those. So it also, before applying its own knowledge solutions for that particular ticket, it also checks if the user has created any policies or rules should I override or not. If, let's say, for example, you can create a rule telling, hey, for this particular event happening coming from so and so server, don't execute your bot or the solution. Just execute my script which I kept in that particular server. So we can override certain policies like those. And if not, it checks if there is a bot. We can go and figure out what the problem is, and then you can see a bot has given a particular diagnostic information like, hey, this particular session ID from logged in with this user account and from so and so client is causing this entire CPU bottleneck. And then I can have a small remediation check for those list of servers. I can put either in auto remediate mode or only diagnostic mode. If I put in remediate mode, it kills the particular session, restarts the application, and make sure things comes back to normal and resolves a particular ticket. Or if I want to put a diagnostic mode, I will get only the diagnostic information, and me being a support engineer can use Autointelli's some recommendation engines to go and quickly do some actions to either I can clean up the session, I can ask user to log off, or I can execute certain commands and make sure things comes back to normal. So these are some of the recommendation which pops in, and I can quickly check. I can retrieve the current usage of the particular machine, so it gives me in real time all the data. I can check the services. For example, if I put a service name, it can get the information. So I don't need to log in basically to get all these information. I can check the machine reachability, service status, CPU, and I can execute some custom commands as well, or killer process and whatever. And it always gets logged in as part of the knowledge base. If tomorrow, if I wanted to check what were the commands executed or what were the solutions provided, I can always search for the issue and go to the history, and then I can get all the related details. So this is all complements with the already the virtual bots which is executing this particular issue. And on top of that, I can just copy paste this output and update the status of the ticket, or add a workflow, or resolve the ticket directly through this particular portal. So I don't even need to switch back the screen to manage Autointelli, manage the ITSM separately or monitoring separately, or to log into the system. And if in case if you wanted to log into the server to troubleshoot certain things or wanted to view certain things, there's a small console button here. On clicking it, it gives you the quick console. Either it can auto log in based on your user account, or it can ask you to give your username, passwords, and log into the user. So based on the access, you can log in and execute your commands, and then see and comes back as well. So again, that's one of our nicest thing. And so this is on the incident management side, and going on to the automations. So you can also create complex automation tasks using our business work process orchestrator. So we have as I told earlier, we have a drag and drop designer, we have a form designer, we have a workflow approvals, you can have business rules, you can create scheduled jobs, you can have self-service portals. All these can be created with our automation engine and can be deployed and can be used, can be given as a service to your customers or end users, or as well as your support users. So I'm opening one of the this already built automation workflow to show how it exactly looks. It's a standard BPM and based engine. You can search what's a BPM in the net. It's a business process management notation standards for creating a drag and drop a design. So you can see all the tasks are pre-built and provided as a self-service widgets. We have custom modules like executing commands, calling an email, sending a REST, calling web service, or you can use other reusable workflows. There can be timers, there can be escalations, all those you can just use simply drag and drop and create those workflows. And you can add forms, business approvals, if else statements, and all a simple low code. Not much of code can be written, or a drag and drop. If you know how the flow you wanted to, you can build any kind of flow and use it in any kind of domain. It's not that it is restricted to IT. You can use it for processing invoices, or updating data in CRMs, or triggering your existing RPA or DevOps tool sets. For example, when code is getting committed, it can trigger a CI/CD pipeline through Autointelli, and then that it's done, and the build can get deployed through our resource provisioning automations, all multiple different. It also complements with other automation tools which are already there in the system as well. So once you deploy this, you get it as a pre-built catalog, and it also have a REST API which can be utilized by other applications if you wanted to directly invoke these automation workflows, or you can always come to the self-service portal, and then you can provision. For example, I want to quickly provision an AWS instance. I can come here, put the VM name, select all the data I need, and then I can initiate a workflow. Or I can do anything particular for that case. If I want to run a SQL Server backup program, I can do that by filling in all the detail and get things done faster. And you also always have a approval window. If anything pending for approval, it pops up here, as well as sends an email. You can approve it so that it goes on to the next level. So you can always add a human interaction in between if you want. To confirm certain inputs before an automation gets triggered, you can always do that as well. So those are some of the things what we have it in our workflow orchestrator. And then my HDDM stands for Host Discovery and Dependency Manager. So it manages all the dependencies for all the other tasks, like having a centralized credential store to map your credentials, and then you have a small discovery engine. If I give a range of IPs, it discovers all the machines there in the infrastructure, and then I can map the credentials which I created before and save it so that it's available as a quick inventory here, so that all the workflows, the incident managements, and all the data before diagnosing it picks up the credentials and the type of connectivity I should use to log into the platform and run the because there could be more than one OSs obviously will be running. For every diagnostics, you should check what the OS is all about, what the architecture is, so that it can gives you the complete the related bots gets triggered and sent to the target. So all this information will be fetched here before executing into the target. So this is our a machine, and you can group machines and execute a commands in a list of groups in my orchestrator, and all those all of these. Finally, coming to the analytics. This is just to show how things work. You can see how many events, how many got suppressed, what are the top 5 alert producing CIs, the noisy CIs I have, and then what are the top 3 alert producing components in my setup, and how's the heavily flow of events and alerts into my platform. And then I can also have a trend graph of how's the event coming in, how's the alert gets suppressed against those events, and what are the top 5 bots that are getting executed, how many got remediated, how many got diagnosed, how many workflows got executed, and those status and all. Again, it's completely customizable based on the deployment which we work with the customer. So that's a quick high-level view of what Autointelli can offer to you. So yeah, over to you, Rak.
Thank you so much for an interactive demo that gives us a lot of insight on. So I can run through some of the use cases, the real-time use cases. Can I have my screen shared, Abhilash? Yeah, we would like to run through some of our real-time use cases using our AIOPS Autointelli tool. The first being, the employee self-password reset or account unlock, mechanism through our SMS gateway services. The problem is that it's estimated about 25 to 40% of the routine task by any help desk or IT support engineer is about resetting their password or unlocking the account. It must be, addressed in several minutes to avoid the productivity, but that's not happening. We have a solution where employees are given, automated password reset or account unlock solutions, to reset their account password by sending an SMS uh, along with the user ID and mobile number. It works just like that. Just send an SMS with your user ID and mobile number. So what are the benefits of it? You get a two-step verification before resetting the password, maybe a mobile number verification against the Active Directory, and it can be an OTP based as well, one-time password based verification. There is absolutely no need to call help desk for this. It frees the technicians time by 25%. They concentrate more on other areas. It's very quick, and the turnaround time is also very quick. So moving on to the next use case, let's say the agentless, automated discovery and inventory of the infrastructure. Many organizations lack an effective tool to manage all their infrastructure assets and end up having a very inaccurate inventory. Also, updating the changes in the infrastructure component will become cumbersome over time. We have a solution for that, where the IT operations team and the IT heads can now utilize Autointelli's automated discovery and inventory reporting feature, which will have an up-to-date inventory of the infrastructure. The benefits, I would say, it's automatic discovery of infrastructure components in the network range. You have to select your network range to get it automatically discovered. You can get the updates on change mode to the components, whether there is a change in the CPU or the storage or the memory. It's completely agentless and hassle-free. You can even download the report of the inventory via an Excel file, or you can send it to the top management if required. The next use case being the hypervisor management and automation through Autointelli. The business growth is all about managing their application, and the application resides in the form of a server. Nowadays, it's mostly virtual servers, and that's being the critical first step. Most of the things are mostly manual now, and it is taking a lot of time for the team to monitor the hypervisors, where the virtual machines are managed. Autointelli has a solution with respect to the virtual environment and also the physical, it can also interface with the physical hardware to simplify resource administration and streamline the operations. This includes, VM creation process, monitor virtual environments, allocate resources, and compile health check reports. So the benefits: manage multiple hypervisors. You have a template can be managed. You have the resource and usages that can also be managed using our solutions. You can also, pick and choose your templates and a hypervisor. So the Autointelli takes care of the rest of the provisioning. The machines will be available with all, bells and whistles. Get an automated health check. That is very important steps in the hypervisor management. The health check. So the VM stop, start, and restart procedures can also be automated. resource monitoring and utilization, and much more can also be automated. This is a very typical problem we face, the application start and shutdown process. We have a solution to automate startup and shutdown processes as well. Most of the IT processes involves manual startups and shutdowns with sign-off papers. That hogs most of the resources in the IT support. So normally hot, warm, or cold starts and shutdowns can lead to the inconsistent performance of the applications. So Autointelli provides a low-cost, decentralized automation option for the IT operations engineers who wants to optimize their VM costs by automating the startup and shutdown procedures of their business-critical applications, which results in time results to save more time with completely automated procedures. It can establish standard processes across the teams and better utilization of the server and application resources. The next use case is being multiple scripting language support in orchestrated environment. Autointelli Orchestrated can help you manage the task with scripting language of your choice. It can be any scripting language of your choice. You can easily get added to the workflows. Each workflow can be associated with multiple tasks, and each task can hold a language of engineers' preferences. It's completely flexible. Right now, it supports Bash, Python, PowerShell, Java, and JavaScripts, and it is supported by easily manageable script editor as well. Very important step, very important use case, which is cloud automation through Autointelli. The rise of multi-cloud creates blind spots, increasing infrastructure cost. It creates various complexities and increases the difficulties in managing them. We have a solution for that. With Autointelli, your IT operations team can select a fit for purpose infrastructure according to the vendor of your choice, and Autointelli's capability to multiple clouds will help you create the infrastructure you opted for. Now, what are the benefits? You can automate the VM creation. You can decommission the process across various cloud environments. You can get to select templates, and rest will be handled by the Autointelli in provisioning. You can, as I said, you can automate your VM start and shutdown procedures across various clouds. You can schedule your workflows, and it's very quick and it hassle-free. So the next use case is being hybrid IT monitoring and incident management. The problem is the organization running multiple monitoring systems after ending up maintaining a siloed environment. They, as I told you, there are information overflow, the dashboard to dashboard. They have a lots of dashboard to take care of. Autointelli, provides a unified monitoring and integrate to multiple monitoring system and gives you a very single pane of glass view. The capabilities extends to all physicals, virtual, as well as the app environment. It can identify and manage issues quickly with the help of the virtual engineers or bots. And it can also resolve your incidents automatically through virtual engineers. It creates and manages ticket in the ITSM portal automatically. You can have the next use case is to get the insights. It's a very important thing. Insights, infrastructure insights through Autointelli's dashboard. You can, as I told you, can get a single pane of glass view covering all the insights of your physical, virtual, and cloud environments. 100 plus adapters across servers, network devices, and virtual environments. Provides deep insights to your infrastructure. Benefits being the dashboards. We are providing Autointelli with a dashboard which is easily customizable. You can have your preferred views. There are already 50 plus built-in charts. We also provide with the built-in pre-built dashboards to provide out-of-the-box infrastructure view. It also facilitates an easily downloadable reports as well. That's all about the use case. Some of the use cases. There are lots and lots of use cases to run through, keeping time in mind. So I would pass it on to Mr. John.
Thank you, Rakesh. Well done. So that comes to the end of our presentation. I would like to thank everyone for their time And if you have any questions, require any information, or have any clarifications, please let us know. My email is john.bone or at inquiries@aiglobal.com.au. We will also be sending a video recording of this presentation to everyone via email. We have most people's email addresses, so we'll be sending that to you as well. And once again, I'd like to thank you all for giving us your time and hope you got something out of this. Thank you.
Yeah, just before closing, there we got some questions. Just the poll that's going on. Just select your poll, and then we'll go to the next. All right, we got just one poll. All right, thank you. All right, that's all for today. Thank you very much for your time with us. Just send your inquiries, anything on the proof of concept or any demos or any questions you may have, please write to us. And thank you very much once again.